Max Carter's mornings began the same way every day, like a dog chasing its own tail, only the tail was a disheveled alarm clock and the dog was a 29-year-old man with a penchant for getting up 5 minutes too late. He stumbled out of bed, tripped over a pile of memories, literal memories, mind you, scattered across his tiny apartment. Max had turned his home into a makeshift memory repository, a colorful collection of moments he had salvaged from people who no longer wanted them. Today, however, felt different. It was one of those mornings when the city buzzed with an unusual energy, like a caffeinated squirrel had taken over the streets. As he darted through the chaotic marketplace, dodging vendors peddling memories of exquisite vacations and long-lost loves, Max had a singular mission: to find the perfect memory for his latest client, a high-powered executive who wanted to forget his wife's terrible cooking. The sweet taste of erasure, Max mused, chuckling to himself as he navigated the throngs of memory traders. A vivid memory of an absurd dinner involving burnt soufflés and a fire alarm echoed in his mind, one that the executive desperately wanted to delete. He arrived at the clinic, a slick, glass-fronted building that screamed opulence, complete with a glimmering sign that read, "Forget It All, LLC." Max adjusted his slightly rumpled shirt, reminding himself that he was a professional in a world where memory modification was the norm for the rich. Inside, he was greeted by Nina, a chipper receptionist with a smile so bright it could power a small city. "Max, you're right on time. Mr. Blanchard is already in the memory suite. He's very eager to forget that cooking disaster." Max grinned and followed her down the sterile corridor. "You'd think he'd have learned how to order takeout by now." Nina chuckled. "You know how it is, everyone wants a fresh start, even if it's just a meal gone wrong." They reached the suite, and as he entered, Max found Mr. Blanchard sitting in a plush chair, his expression a blend of anxiety and excitement. "Ah, Max. You're here. I can't wait to erase that meal from my mind. Let's make it a culinary amnesia to remember," Max replied, pulling out a sleek tablet. He adjusted his glasses and began scrolling through the options. "Now, you wanted to keep the memory of the kitchen, right? Just, not the cooking?" "Yes. Exactly," Mr. Blanchard said, practically bouncing in his seat. "Perfect. Let's see what we've got." Max's fingers danced over the screen, pulling up a dazzling array of memories: a beach picnic, a stunning sunset, and, lo and behold, an exquisitely plated dessert that looked like it belonged in a gallery. "Here we go, this one features a fantastic tiramisu. You'll love it." Just as he was about to finalize the selection, a beeping sound caught his attention. Glancing at the corner of the tablet, he saw a notification for a top-secret memory capsule, clearly marked as restricted. His curiosity piqued. Max felt a rush of adrenaline. "What's this?" he murmured, tapping on the notification. I wouldn't mess with that," Nina warned, but Max was already clicking through the interface. The screen flickered, and suddenly, a rush of disjointed images and sounds flooded the room: people rioting in the streets, shadowy figures in government buildings, a vast digital network flashing ominous warnings about memory manipulation. Max's eyes widened. He leaned in closer, captivated by the chaos unraveling before him. What in the world? The playback ended abruptly, and Max yanked his hands away as if burned. Mr. Blanchard stared at him, wide-eyed. "What was that?" Just some odd files," Max stammered, trying to shake off the feeling of dread that crept in. "Nothing to worry about. Let's get back to your culinary crisis." But as he tried to refocus on Mr. Blanchard's memory, he couldn't shake the unsettling sense that what he had just glimpsed was far more important than a dinner disaster. He quickly erased the playback from the device, but the images lingered in his mind like a haunting melody. After the procedure, Mr. Blanchard thanked him profusely, leaving with a lightness that Max envied. But all he could think about were those haunting memories. What did I just uncover? He wondered, running a hand through his hair as he paced the room. Later, he met his best friend, Lila, at their usual coffee spot, a hole-in-the-wall cafe that served the best memory-infused lattes. She was hunched over her laptop, the glow illuminating her face as she typed furiously, "Hey, you'll never believe what I found today," Max exclaimed, sliding into the seat across from her. He recounted the day's bizarre events, from the disastrous memory retrieval to the alarming secret he had stumbled upon. Lila paused her typing and raised an eyebrow. "You found a secret government memory capsule? You're kidding, right?" "Nope. It was real. There were images of people rioting. Something big is happening, Lila. And I think it has to do with memory manipulation. The government is hiding something." Lila leaned back, crossing her arms. "Max, you know how conspiracy theories go. Everyone thinks the government is out to get them. What if it's just a glitch or some old footage? I don't know. But what if it's not?" Max shot back. "What if it's something more?" She sighed, pushing a stray hair behind her ear. "Okay, but what are you going to do about it? Just sit here and drink your coffee?" "No. I need to dig deeper. This could change everything." Max's heart raced at the thought of uncovering something significant, something that could elevate him from a memory hunter to a memory hero. Lila's expression softened. "All right, but you'll need help. And you'll need to be careful. You know they don't take kindly to snoopers." "Right, so let's snoop," Max said, grinning despite the seriousness of the situation. They clinked their coffee cups together as if sealing a pact, laughter bubbling between them. "First, let's find out where these memories came from." Max and Lila spent the next few days poring over every scrap of information they could find. Max's apartment transformed into a makeshift command center, cluttered with notes and memory data they downloaded from the dark web. It was like they were two detectives in a noir film, except instead of trench coats and fedoras, they wore t-shirts and sweatpants, surrounded by empty takeout containers and coffee cups. "Okay, so we know the government is erasing memories," Max said, pacing back and forth as Lila scrolled through an online forum filled with conspiracy theories. "But why? What are they hiding?" Lila's eyes lit up as she found a thread titled, "Memory Modification: The Truth Behind the Curtain." This guy claims that people who forget certain memories end up more compliant. It's like, she paused dramatically, a kind of social control. Max rubbed his chin. "That's diabolical. If they can erase painful memories, what's to stop them from deleting inconvenient truths? People might be walking around blissfully ignorant of everything." "And that's just the start," Lila added, her fingers flying over the keyboard. "Check this out. There's a rumor about a mass memory deletion event happening soon, something that could affect the entire city." Max's heart raced. "We need to find out when and where. If we could get evidence of this." Suddenly, Max's phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. "I know what you found. Meet me at the old warehouse on 7th and Pine tonight. Come alone." "Whoa. Are you going to meet this person?" Lila asked, her voice a mix of excitement and concern. "I have to. This could be the break we need," Max replied, adrenaline coursing through him. But as he looked at Lila's worried expression, doubt crept in. What if it's a trap? Then don't go alone, she insisted. I'm coming with you. As night fell, they arrived at the warehouse, a hulking structure draped in shadows, the moonlight barely illuminating its weathered facade. They stepped inside, the air thick with the scent of rust and decay. Max's heart thumped loudly in his chest. This place gives me the creeps, he muttered. Yeah, it's like a horror movie waiting to happen, Lila replied, scanning the dimly lit space. Let's just stick together, okay? Agreed. They moved cautiously deeper into the warehouse, their footsteps echoing against the concrete. A flickering light revealed a figure waiting in the far corner. The man was tall, cloaked in a dark hoodie that obscured his face, but Max could make out a faint glimmer of metal, a small device strapped to his wrist. Max Carter, the figure said, his voice gravelly. I hear you're looking for the truth. Who are you? Max demanded, trying to sound braver than he felt, just a concerned citizen. I know you stumbled upon the government's little secret. You shouldn't have, but now you have a choice to make. Choice? Max echoed, confusion washing over him. Join us, or back off. The memory deletion event is happening tomorrow. If you don't want to be part of it, you need to act fast. What do you mean, act fast? Lila interjected, stepping closer. What's your plan? The man stepped into the light, revealing sharp features and intense eyes. I can help you expose them, but you need to gather evidence. We have a small team ready to assist, but you need to be willing to take risks. Max and Lila exchanged glances. What kind of risks? Max asked, feeling a mix of fear and exhilaration. Dangerous ones, the man said bluntly. We're talking about hacking into secure databases, stealing data, and broadcasting it to the public. Are you in? Max felt a thrill run through him. This was the moment he had been waiting for, the chance to uncover the truth and make a difference. I'm in. Great. Meet me here at midnight, the man instructed, giving them an address. And bring any intel you've got. We'll need it. As they left the warehouse, the weight of what lay ahead hung heavily in the air. Lila looked thoughtful. Max, this could go really badly. Are you sure you want to do this? I have to. If they're really planning something so sinister, it's our responsibility to stop it. That night, they gathered all the evidence they had compiled and made a plan. By the time the clock struck midnight, they were ready to meet their mysterious ally. The rendezvous point was a nondescript office building in a less trafficked part of the city. Max and Lila arrived early, their nerves buzzing with anticipation. They were greeted by a small group of individuals, each equally determined and anxious. Among them was the man from the warehouse, now introducing himself as Gabe. Welcome, team. Time is of the essence. We need to infiltrate the government central memory processing facility to retrieve the data on the deletion event, Gabe said, his tone serious. How do we get in? Lila asked, her practical nature kicking in. I have a plan, Gabe replied. But we'll need to create a distraction. That's where you come in, Max. You've got the experience in memory retrieval. You'll be the one to access the memory banks. Max's heart raced. I've never done anything like that before. Exactly, Gabe said with a sly smile. That's why it'll work. They won't expect you. We'll have a team outside to monitor security feeds and provide backup. You just have to stick to the plan. With a mixture of excitement and anxiety, Max agreed. The team quickly mapped out the facility, noting the entrances, security measures, and the best routes to take. They rehearsed their roles, making sure everyone knew their part in the operation. As dawn approached, the tension in the air was palpable. They made their way to the facility, a cold, imposing building that loomed ahead, surrounded by high-tech security measures. Gabe and the others moved into position while Max and Lila crept toward a side entrance. "Stay sharp," Lila whispered as they approached the door. Max took a deep breath and nodded. "Let's do this." They slipped inside, moving quickly through the corridors. The facility was eerily quiet, with only the soft hum of machines echoing in the background. They navigated through the maze of hallways until they reached the main control room. "This is it," Max said, feeling a rush of adrenaline. "I can access the memory banks from here." Lila kept an eye on the door, her expression tense. "Hurry up, Max." He sat down at the control terminal, fingers hovering over the keyboard. The interface was complicated, but Max's instincts kicked in. He began typing furiously, entering codes and bypassing security protocols, his heart pounding in his chest. "I'm in," he said, barely believing it. Data streams began flashing across the screen, revealing layers upon layers of memory files. "There are so many. I need to find the ones about the deletion event. Quickly," Lila urged, glancing nervously at the door. As Max scanned the files, he felt a sense of urgency. He had to find the right information before they were discovered. Just as he started to pull up the relevant data, an alarm blared through the facility, piercing the silence like a knife. Someone triggered the security. Lila shouted, "We need to get out of here." Max's fingers flew over the keyboard, desperately trying to finish downloading the files. Almost there, just a few more seconds. With the alarm blaring, footsteps echoed down the hall. "They were running out of time now, Max. We have to go." Lila insisted, grabbing his arm. "Done," he shouted, yanking out a drive just as the door burst open. A group of security guards rushed in, eyes wide with confusion. "Run!" Lila yelled, and they bolted out of the room, hearts racing as they sprinted down the corridor. They turned corners, their breaths coming in quick gasps as they dodged guards and security cameras. Max's mind raced, recalling the layout they had memorized. They had to reach the side exit. "Left here," he called, leading Lila down another hallway. They skidded to a halt in front of a large, locked door. Come on," Max fumbled with the lock, but it wouldn't budge. Behind them, the sound of shouts grew louder. "I've got this," Lila said, pulling out a compact device from her backpack. "Cover me." As she worked on the lock, Max peered back down the corridor. "Hurry." With a final click, the door swung open, and they dashed through just as security guards turned the corner. They sprinted out into the early morning light, the city sprawling before them like a sprawling maze of chaos. They slowed their pace, breathing heavily as they found themselves in an alleyway behind the facility. Max glanced at the drive in his hand, the evidence of their daring escape. "We did it," he panted, a mix of disbelief and exhilaration flooding over him. "Not yet. We have to get this data to Gabe and the others," Lila replied, her eyes scanning the street for any signs of danger. With a renewed sense of purpose, they navigated the back streets, adrenaline still coursing through their veins. They finally reached their meeting point, a rundown diner that served as their command center. Gabe was waiting, a look of both relief and excitement on his face. "You made it," he exclaimed as they burst through the door. "What do you have?" Max held up the drive, his heart racing. "I got the files. This is proof of everything." "Good." We're broadcasting it live in an hour. We need to get the information out to the public before they can shut it down. Broadcast? Lila echoed, eyebrows raised. Is that safe? We have to take the risk, Gabe replied, his expression determined. This is bigger than us now. As they prepared for the broadcast, Max felt a mixture of anxiety and exhilaration. They were about to expose a government conspiracy that could change everything. He looked at Lila, who was working tirelessly alongside him, her focus unwavering. In the moments leading up to the broadcast, Max's mind raced. They were in this together, facing a formidable adversary. But for the first time in a long time, he felt a sense of purpose. They were memory hunters, yes, but now they were so much more. As the clock ticked down to the moment of truth, the weight of their mission settled on his shoulders. It wasn't just about memories anymore, it was about the future, the choices people made, and the power to remember or forget. Are you ready? Gabe asked, his voice steady. Max nodded, determination flooding through him. Let's do this. They initiated the broadcast, the screen lighting up with the raw footage of the memory deletion event. The city buzzed with life outside, but in that moment, it felt as if the world was holding its breath, waiting to see what would unfold. This was just the beginning, Max realized. No matter what happened next, they were ready to fight for the truth.